The sun hung low above Brookfield Manor, casting a golden hue through arches bursting with wildflowers. It was like a painting, pastel streamers fluttering, a string quartet softly tuning up, champagne flutes catching the light in a shimmer of hope. Every moment had been meticulously orchestrated, and standing beside me was meant to be my brother, my confidant, my best man. And yet, Marcus and I had been inseparable from the earliest days, two wild-hearted boys clinging like birds to the same stalk of wheat. We built forts in the woods, traded whispered secrets in the dark, and even stumbled through our first crushes side by side, all while being carted around by Mom in those god-awful pink pants. He was the first to warm to Lila when I introduced her during college. I still remember that lazy afternoon at Emma's house. Burgers sizzling, Marcus throwing his head back in laughter as Lila told some absurd story about lab mice escaping mid-experiment. He raised a toast to our love. I never imagined how many layers that toast would hold. Lila and I fell hard, fast. Midnight searches on shared Wi-Fi. Study sessions turned stargazing dates. Coffee-fueled evenings, morphing into late-night movie marathons. Marcus offered quiet wisdom. Pause. Reflect. But I was stubborn. I thought I had it all figured out. Maybe I leaned too heavily on him. He never said a word, but his presence clung. Every Sunday, he came for dinner. At holidays, he'd wedge himself between us. He listened intently, sometimes too intently, and there were moments his expressions mirrored mine, as if he were living both sides. One evening, I took Lila to the park. Candles, gentle music, a bed of roses. I knelt into the sand and asked her to be mine forever. She whispered yes. I looked up. Marcus's eyes glistened, not just with pride, but something else. They'd been rehearsing the best man speech in secret. I don't recall the words, just the quake beneath my feet. As the wedding neared, I leaned on Marcus. Grab that chair. Do you like this playlist? While I stayed close to Lila, we began drifting, lost in a sea of bookings, flower samples, spreadsheets. Once, I entered the florist's studio and caught them whispering. Their reaction? Startled. She smiled, but she never explained what they were arranging. Vegas, the bachelor party. Just a few of us. Marcus, Derek, Nina. Nights 1 and 2. Liquor-soaked, loud, a blur of lights. Then came the third. Lila arranged a limo. One last wild night. Marcus stood on the balcony, cigarette in hand. He hugged me tight. She's high, he said, then handed me her phone. Messages. Sweet. Intimate. I can't stop thinking about you. My stomach dropped. Shock. Rage. I confronted Lila at 6 a.m. in our hotel. She sobbed. Denied everything. Said it was a prank. A hacker. Marcus messaged me minutes later. Sorry you're stressed. Derek and Nina said nothing. The bond broke. I wandered out into the city's dawn, trying to breathe. But I came back. I told myself love could heal. I believed we could rebuild. The wedding morning felt like moving through syrup. Marcus gave a beautiful speech. Heartfelt. No slips. No confessions. Just polished words. Yet I heard what he didn't say. I've known him all his life, better than anyone. Then he looked at her. During the father-daughter dance, Lila stepped on my foot. I winced. She gave a sheepish laugh. Her kiss tasted of lipstick and something that wasn't mine. The day blurred. Applause, cake, staged smiles. Beneath it all, bones rattling in closets. 3 days later, I found Lila's clothes by my luggage. On top, an empty ring box. Inside, photos, selfies of her and Marcus, stolen kisses on supposed work nights, even laundry jokes they'd shared. It wasn't shocking. Not surreal, just confirmation. They weren't conspirators. They were in love. I went to Marcus, told him I knew. His eyes dropped, guilty, but unapologetic. I loved her first, he admitted. I flinched. I crossed a line, he added. Lila stood behind him, tears rolling. I didn't mean to hurt you. They didn't stop. Until then. My father's silence became a curse, a vulture circling above. I couldn't breathe. I left the house. There was an envelope on the table, rings inside, a letter in her handwriting. I'm not proud of the pain. I'm sorry. I hope you don't hate me. One from Marcus. Brother without equal. I can't undo it. But I hope you read this. I never replied. I didn't choose sides. I found a small apartment. I rebuilt piece by piece. Early jogs, journal entries, reconnecting with my own voice. Therapy helped trace betrayal's outline and redefine love. 1 year later, an editor asked me to write about betrayal and redemption. I wrote what I knew. About a best man who was also a secret lover. About a wife who broke her vow. The kind of woman whose story is always told in betrayal, not in loyalty. I stood at the brink of grief and chose to survive. Published under a pen name, the piece went viral. People flooded my inbox. This is my life too. You put my pain into words. I finally left. But I realized what mattered wasn't their story. It was mine. A story of reclaiming dignity, of surviving betrayal, because my best man was never supposed to be her secret.